少佐。
心配はいらないさ。メインターンアクセス。モードアクティブ。オールゲスペンスト。
いつの間に。
操作。
Hello and welcome back to another Plamo review. Today we're taking a look at the Super Robot Wars High Grade Gespenst. I spent all that time straightening this out for that opening shot, and now I'm about to ruin all that. On the one hand, it's nice this has so much articulation, but on the other hand, the unorthodox design kind of makes it a little annoying. Anyway, the head is on a ball joint that goes down into the neck, which is kind of weird. And also, there is technically a hinge in there, but honestly, given how bulky everything back here is, you can't really look up much more than that. Can look down okay. A little bit of tilt to either side, and thankfully a pretty good rotation. The shoulders are a really weird design, because there's a pull-out thing here, which has a hinge. Then there's a ball joint in here, and also this piece can rotate, so there's an absolute absurd amount of range these shoulders can get. Like genuinely insane. I've never seen shoulders this good before. And they collapse nice into the chest, so it doesn't look weird, even though it has that much articulation. Like I said, there's also the ball joint here. This armor piece is on a separate hinge that lets it move slightly out of the way. The arm can get easily out to 90. Despite all this junk, nothing actually gets in the way there. There's a little bit of a bicep swivel. Kinda. Like, it does move. It's just that the ball joint down here wants to move before that one does. Actually, it's probably easier to take this off to show this off. There is a 90-degree-ish bend here. And that's really the elbow, because you put this in here and this is more like a swivel with a slight wobble to it. That said, that ain't bad. It's like a proper 90 and you can cheese a little bit more out of it. It's not the full bend of the side buster, but I'll take it. Also, this wrist has a little extra hinge. And the hands are, as always, on a ball joint, but also the thumbs are ball jointed. Now, the chest. There's a hinge up in this area that lets it move a little bit front to back here. Then there's a ball joint down in the waist that gets pretty much a swivel and a little bit more movement there. It's okay. The thing is how bulky this is. Like, they did the best they could. These side skirts are on sort of an offset ball joint in here, so they can swivel pretty well out of the way either side, which is good. The front skirt, this big chunk, is actually on a sort of Z double ball joint system, so it can move out and swivel to either side to get more out of the way of whichever leg you want to get up. These parts of the front skirt are just, traditional ball joints into the side thing. So you can kind of get it out of the way, but there's so much here. I mean, that's just kind of the design of the Gespenst. There's not much you could do about that. There is, however, another joint in here that lets you move this whole section forward. If you want to, really get a high kick, you kind of can. It's helped by the fact that the actual peg for the hip is really offset forward, so you get a lot of range out of that without an overly complex joint. And, it's just universal joint side slats out to the side, swivel at the thigh. A absolutely in. If I can even actually show it off fully, a full knee bend. It genuinely is a full knee bend, but the thing is the back skirt gets in the way. Then there's a little forward back rock right here, which is it's subtle. I like it. Though that's mostly because it's literally just a ball joint here. There's no side rock in the ankle, which that's not bad considering there's no side rock, but I really wish they had put a little extra rocking in here so you could get a really deep wide pose, but whatever. And then the actual foot itself has a little double hinge thing going on with it. It's a little bit of extra range. You get pretty deep back, pretty far forward. You know, they did good. For a design that's honestly really hard to give good articulation, they did a pretty insane job of giving it decent articulation. It's the best articulation the Gespenst has ever had and may ever have. Alright, getting into accessories. Let's start off, as always, with the sticker sheet and, by extension, color correction. You'll notice there's only one sticker on this, and that's because that is the camera for the rifle. I just did my usual silver behind metallic green, and it turned out okay. It's not perfect, but hey, I'll take it. While we're on the rifle, these hoses, I don't know why it won't focus today. Thank you. These three cables in the rifle need to be painted. That's fun. Also, one other thing. The Ecopla logo is on the box, and I think this is where it came from, because the split missiles on the back and this are on a separate couple of black runners, and it's a different plastic. It's a really hard, really dark black, and yeah, I'm assuming this is Ecopla. I appreciate it. It means that the actual Gespenst is a nice, buttery, smooth, new plastic, and these are kind of crusty, but whatever, it's the accessories anyway. Anyway, before we move on to the accessories, let's go over the paint on the actual figure real quick. I did a little bit of silver behind the visor, just to make it pop. It is silver plastic, but it's this silver plastic, not, you know, nice metallic shine, so a little bit more of a foil look. Kind of gives it that extra shine. It makes it nicer. Aside from that, a little bit of black in these verniers. The black in here is actually a silver piece inside the chest. The pegs stick through, so paint the top of the pegs black. You need to do the red trim on this piece. Thankfully, the black in the center is actually part of this. Speaking of black in the center, that needs paint. The rest of them actually have separated parts. Aside from that, you know, a little bit of panel lining in here, red in these verniers, and big one. This whole section is just a big red piece, so all of that is sort of a dark German gray. It's like pretty close color match to this. Just off black, basically. It's the Mr. Hobby German gray, which is way darker than it should be, but it works well for this. Also, you're going to want to paint the little vernier in here silver, which is a really minor detail, but it is apparently supposed to be silver. But yeah, that's literally all the paint this needs. Like, all of this is, it's all color separated. Like, aside from like a little bit of trim in a few places, it's all separated. It's crazy. This looks so good and has such little paint on it. They did an insanely good job. Now, finally, getting into the accessories proper. Let's start out with the back. These wings are actually on ball joints that collapse in. So if you just give them a little tug, you can actually get a ton of range on them, which is nice. Oh, also, slash rippers are supposed to store here, but it doesn't matter. You can barely see that they're there anyway, so I'd rather just leave them off, rather than have to pull off the top and separate out the little printed blade piece. We'll get into that in a second, but split missiles, however, just plug in, just this one peg holds the whole thing on. They don't separate or anything, but this is actually surprisingly heavy. They have a lot of chunk to them. And also, you can take off these silver bracer pieces without affecting the look of this. They're actually sculpted to go around the wing without having to compromise the sculpt of the wing itself. And just a brief mention, I've tried it. These fit really well in the hand. Sorry, not beam saber, plasma sword. However, I will point out, this is the Master Grade God Gundam beam saber. Comes with two, but I mean, there's no real reason to cut out both. Slight curve, absolutely enormous. It's almost as tall as the suit itself. And then we get into the hands. The main chunk of the hand is sort of its own thing. Then you pull off the fingers, and they just peg in. You get two closed fist finger pieces, a pair of holding hands for the plasma swords, a trigger finger for the rifle. This, which is also for this hand, and I have to be honest, I have no idea what this is for. As you can see there's a little tab sticking out. I don't know what this is supposed to hold. I don't get it. It doesn't say anywhere in the instructions. I looked online, none of the promotional images. I have no idea what this piece is for. Please tell me in the comments. I genuinely don't know what these fingers are used for. The best I can figure is maybe to hold this secondary handle, but like, it doesn't seem right. And it doesn't fit this one because it doesn't actually fit there, and it's also the wrong finger, so like, what is this used for? I don't get it. It doesn't attach in here. It doesn't attach onto this. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what this is supposed to hold on to. Finally, you do get a single right. Come on, Bandai, you could have given us an extra set of fingers. Like, you're already making it swappable anyway. Just let us. Anyway, this is for the Slash Ripper pose, the iconic tear them to shreds pose. And of course, that means you have to show off the Slash Rippers, which look really nice. I kind of wish they gave us the single blades that weren't spinning, but I'm not going to complain about printed pieces here. They look amazing. It's the same one, but I flipped them so they, match up. I will point out it doesn't actually come with two arms. I just had a spare one, and I wanted to have both of them displayed. Which brings up an interesting point. I don't know why this didn't come with the same little mini stands that the Sidebuster came with for its high familiars. These literally use 3mm pegs. There's no reason they couldn't have done that. But yes, that does bring us around to finally, it does actually come with an action base. The same one that the other Super Robot Wars come with. Solid black base with a action base forearm, but only one base. And you may have noticed earlier, but there's actually a little fold-out 5mm peg stuck in the hip piece that literally plugs directly in, which is absolutely insane. I don't know why they decided to do it that way, but it works. It's really sturdy, so I guess I can't complain. And as for a quick size comparison, it's not super tall. I mean, it's like a Zeta Gundam height-ish. Like it's got about the same mass as the Double Zeta. Really is the best way to put it. Really, really chunky legs, pretty big shoulders. Just overall, it has a lot of like thickness to it. Like, it almost just feels like an SD, but it's not. So, to wrap this review up, God, this looks good. The articulation's excellent. The color separation is damn near perfect. If they wanted to, they probably could have separated those vents in the shoulder, but I'm not going to hold that against them. This is the best Gespenst you can currently get on the market. It comes with everything you'd want it to. It can pull off everything you want it to. It's a very low-effort model kit. This thing went together way faster than I thought it would. It was a really unique build. Does a lot of interesting things that other suits don't. Honestly, I think it was worth the price, and if you had any interest in picking it up, do so. Anyway, that's all for this review. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, helps a lot. Subscribe and hit the bell for future reviews. Go follow me on Twitter for updates. And consider supporting me on Patreon so I can keep making reviews just like this one. And as always, until next time, happy building.